I'm very pleased to be doing this little interview with Miriam because I think Miriam is the perfect example of someone who is bringing a practical and realistic solution. That is, you bring water, clean water, to the people. And that's something everybody needs.
Yeah.
So nothing could be more practical than that. And it seems a little bit extraordinary that, I mean, as I understand what you said, the water is there, the people are there,
yes.
The obstacles are political.
Absolutely. And the people who really deal with the water, not only that the water is there, but the people who really deal with the water and who care, work together and
yes.
can work and want to work together.
Yes,
and
they don't have political problems.
No, but the politicians will impede getting the bigger possibilities to all the people. The technological people, and some of them particularly, are very active in getting together. And yet the politicians might say, no, we don't want that.
Yes, in some sense one has the feeling that the best way to approach the politics would be through the technology. That is, if the politicians were to follow your example, Miriam, because you've actually got students and former colleagues from all over the region who are sometimes from very different countries, and
yeah.
What I admire most when I see you turn up at an international gathering like this one is that all these people, in fact, they all know you, they all come to you for advice, and everybody, it's like a family. They're all working
That's
together.
Right.
A family of experts on making water clean. Now, what could be better for Africa than that? So it's very disappointing to hear that the politicians are somehow making sure that these wheels don't go round properly.
Yes, they deliberately make sure that they don't.
Yes.
Deliberately, and not by chance, by not knowing, but deliberately impede this possibility, even of training.
So I think in some respects there is a problem of communication here, because the progress that we are making in these meetings is much faster and much more important than the political progress. So the only thing that can be done about that is to make sure the public finds out about it, independently from whatever is going on in the political world. If people were to know in the world outside just everything that you have done for this, I think the attitude towards science and technology and what it can bring to people in Africa would be very different.
Well, another thing, what you see exactly in bringing the knowledge to the notice of the public, when you open television or a newspaper, you'll find out about the terrorists and all the terrible things that are happening and the trials and court cases and the corruption, but you don't read about these things, the good part.
The good news is never there.
The good news is never there, including
right.
this collaboration and the possibility of water, for instance, in this case, or giving jobs to these poor fellows who become terrorists because they have no other job.
Yes. Yes, the amazing news really is that we don't have any shortage of water.
No.
And the sun is there providing us with all the energy that is needed. So what all is needed is the technology, and all we have to do is copy nature and make sure that the solar energy is used properly.
And yes, and make it possible to also to work on it and to research it, even if it's costly at first, but to get there and to involve the people who really need the water. But also mainly where there are water systems, in the case of Palestine, Israel, that you do have water and all you need is a pipe to connect, and it's possible. You might say that there's a cost involved and so on, but even this can be overcome. It's not. It is not the problem.
No, it isn't. And the other point, I think, is that this north-south divide we have could in many ways be compensated if we could only bring clean, fresh water to the North African coastline.
Yes.
Then it would be possible to build new cities and to have new development, a new urban development, and maybe development of tourism and so many other things which hang on that.
Oh, Gaza could be a paradise, for instance. It's right on the sea, a beautiful part of the sea, and there would be no problem, really.
Yes.
But it's impeded by the politicians
right.
only. But the technologists get together, want to get together,
And the technology is there, and the water is there, and the people who want this water are also there. So
yes.
there should really be no problem.
And even training them has been prevented in some cases, where they would like, even professors would like some specific training in the field, but they don't allow them to come to a meeting where we're trying to, we do it.
So that's what we need to do. We need to wave a big flag here and say to the world outside, look at what's happening, and don't listen necessarily to what the politicians are saying.
And you mentioned the African coast, of course, even in the north, in the Maghreb, there are plants. In Algeria, Tunisia, there are, let's say, desalination plants.
It's coming. It's coming.
Oh, it's there.
It's coming.
In Algeria, there's one of the biggest in the world.
Yes.
And 13 others. So there are.
So that's the good news.
That's the good news. But the thing is, it doesn't filter into some of the other countries.
Well, let's try and get the good news to everybody.